what I call gets what most important elements in that strategy. First is data gathering. Second, how we analyze the data. And thirdly, I think how we what I call transform or develop the solution to ensure what has been gathered can be what I call transform or innovate to ensure the efficiency of the services. That's the key element from Mr. Mohamudin for the Airbus. Maybe Mr. Julian, you have similar to share?
Thank you for the question. So innovation, technology, investment, digitalization have been a key priority for the group ever since more after the years of the COVID. So the group has put aside 2 billion euros from 2021 to 2025 to look at modernizing the company's IT infrastructure, integrating new capabilities, very important, upskilling our workforce, upskilling our employees, right? To make sure that the technology is there, the hardware is there, it's always the people that's not ready. Not so much of skills, some sort mindset. So we're looking at usage of how we use data analytics. We spoke about Internet of Things, and a lot so in the logistics arena, automation and robotics is a big one. So very similar to Airbus, investment to these areas are into 3 big pillars. One is operational excellence. So I'll give you an example. In October last year, we had our biggest investment in Malaysia, costing us Malaysian ringgit 300 million. That's our new KLIA gateway. It is the most advanced gateway in Southeast Asia. A little bit more advanced than the one we have in Singapore, fortunately. Because we build it later, we have an opportunity to put in the latest hardware and software. So we were previously located in Subang. As most of you who use our service would know, we've been in Subang for a long time. And Subang is very close to our customers. When we were asked by, or we requested by MOT to move to KLIA, you start scratching your head because you're 70 kilometers out and you still need to deliver the same OTP, on-time performance. So the investments of the 300 million went into the most automated auto sort, which allows us to process 4 times faster, 4 times more volume, at a 3 times bigger size facility without adding headcounts. So that's operational excellence. Secondly, after operational excellence, we look at employee experience. So employee experience is a big measure for us in DHL because we want to make sure that we want to ensure that we continue to be a great place to work for everyone. We take pride to be the #1 great place to work. So employee experience is a big one on our indicator. So one example I'd like to share. We used to get about 3,000 calls a day into our call center or whatever, asking for rates, checking a shipment, checking on what the HS code to use, customs in China, customs in India. Today, 60% are done by a digital assistant. So it really takes off the workload of our customer service agents. Now they are able to concentrate on higher quality work, like to prevent and service incident from happening. So nobody wants a shipment late. Nobody wants a shipment delivered stuck in the customs. Nobody wants to pay extra duty for the shipment. So a lot of these resources, the manual resources, are being held by the digital assistant. A lot of this extra proactive effort are being done by the human beings themselves. Last but not least, obviously customer experience. So in customer experience is where, again, one of the biggest pillar that we make sure that the investments are going through enhancing customer experience. I'll just give an example here. So many SMEs who are actually looking at growing their business using the e-commerce platform, they are often faced with challenges of how do I declare my shipment correctly? How do I put the right HS code? What are the paperwork required? Which countries does Malaysia have a free trade agreement? And this is all available, I'm not so sure whether it's on the slide, in a free online, it's called MyGTS or Global Trade Services. If you have, you're selling sneakers, let's say to Europe, a new market, you're able to punch in the material that's being used on the sneakers, what are the leather used, what are the sole used, and you will be recommended a HS code, you'll be given reference on what would be the estimate landing cost like. So you know how to price your goods, and to make sure that the customer have a good customer experience. You don't have a customer over in Europe having to pay extra duty or having a shipment being stuck in the customs. So very similar to Airbus, operational excellence, employee experience, customer experience take lead in the investments that we put in terms of technology and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Julian. Wow, very interesting. From the technology and humankind, all also need to be what call increase their capability rather than just technology alone. It won't work. And the investment you have put to start new e-fulfillment in Spang, I hope will provide a return back, because as the forecasted, the revenue will increase. I think it's almost 4.7% compounded annual rate. So I think it's a good investment, and hopefully maybe Malaysia will be the biggest in the next future. Miss Yu, maybe you have anything to share also on the first question as a user and also as the solution provider for the logistics.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So for sure, I think Ericsson has a lot of engagement in the logistics sector, both directly and indirectly with our customers, both operators and then of course the industries. So if we go to the next slide of what I have prepared, so talk about how we are working actively on the digital transformation of logistics industry. So I think being mentioned just now, besides sustainability as a focus for us, we're also of course working very actively, continue to make logistics being smart. I think you talk about data collection, how do you utilize data in a smart way. But very much focus on, of course, to have the logistics industry being not only saying you are interconnected, but you also can make real-time decisions, right? Then we also have a lot of focus on reliability. I think this is very critical for the logistics industry. Then of course security. So some examples we can mention here is like we are working with CG Logistics in South Korea, deploying 5G for logistics. Already like the first few months, they are seeing 20% productivity improvement just because they're changing 5G instead of using Wi-Fi. Then the other thing is talk about sea transport. We're working actively with many seaports globally. For example, like the port of Singapore as an example, to introduce 5G to drive port automation. Then here again, reliability, security is a key focus, beside of course efficiency. Then on the airport aviation industry, we're actually working with different airports. One example, we have been working with the Paris airport since 5 years back. And there you actually have 150,000 people being connected with 5G. And then of course, more than 1,500 companies are actually working in that area. So that, again, the efficiency 5G is bringing to both the sea transport and the air transport, and then of course the road transport. We are working here, as I being informed here in Malaysia with DMB, our partner, to look into how can we also drive the road transport to speed up the logistic, right, together with Scania and other industry partners. So in the context of digital transformation, we do feel like we are providing the, let's say, the technology foundation for the industry. Then as a user, as I was mentioning about our focus on sustainability, so Ericsson is actively pushing our suppliers and then of course our logistics supplier to provide the green solution in their context. And then if I continue the next slide, if you can help me to put up. So the effort from Ericsson's side is to highlight that we are continuously working with our customers in 180 countries, and then of course especially the leading nations, to accelerate innovation on 5G. And here we are so proud to mention about the success Ericsson has had with DNB here, that I think yesterday the Minister of Communication talked about like Malaysia is having one of the world's best 5G network here. Last year, Malaysia was awarded not only saying you have the best speed, but you also have a consistency, as we say, right? Because you can provide the consistent 5G performance. That's super important for the industry to leverage. So that what Ericsson is doing here is like, we continue to, of course, we need to speed up the adoption of 5G. Then, of course, we need to continue to evolve 5G technology by focusing on 5G advanced. And then, of course, in 6G, we are already start working actively to drive the standardization. Again, one global standard for 6G is so critical. And that's the mission Ericsson is having currently. And then, of course, we talk about quantum, we talk about AI, then, of course, many other exciting technologies. But I think the point is like we need to drive a global collaboration. So standardization and then, of course, co-creation in terms of driving technology adoption is super important.
Thank you. Wow. So because of the efficiency, I think that's why your logistic in arranging all the equipment for nation 5G network is on time, so we can complete the rollout within 2 years. Probably because of that efficiency. Thank you. All right. Next, I think we go to the second question. Maybe to Mr. Mohan. Airbus, the leading tech engineering and aviation company, offers the world commercial aircraft, helicopters, defense, and space. Given the vastness of your business operation, can you provide some insight on how technology and automation have transformed Airbus into a multifaceted organization that leverage technologies such as artificial intelligence?
Sure, I'll do that. So Airbus has established itself as a global leader in aviation by adopting cutting-edge technology as well as in developing advanced products and services. So when it comes to AI, it's certainly an area of focus in Airbus. I'm going to go a little bit technical in a few minutes. So with regards to AI, we focus on 6 technical areas. The first area is about knowledge extraction. Second area is concerning computer vision. And then the third area is anomaly detection. Subsequently, we are looking into conversational assistance, decision making, as well as autonomous flights. Okay, so these are the 6 key technical areas that we are looking at when we talk about AI. Why I'm bringing this up is because we leverage on all these 6 areas to come up with our next generation products. So for example, if we look at computer vision, machine learning, these kind of technologies we implement in our City Airbus project that I mentioned earlier on. So this air mobility solution called City Airbus, utilizing computer vision and machine learning allows it to fly autonomously, pilotless systems. It allows it to take off and land autonomously. It allows it to navigate through obstacles autonomously, and is without a pilot. Okay, so we are leveraging on all these technical areas in AI to actually help us to establish next generation products. In terms of defense and space, we also have this program called Future Combat Air Systems, FCAS. Okay, so if you look up FCAS, FCAS is actually a European defense program which actually connects next generation fighter jets with aerial vehicles such as drones. Okay, so instead of sending a fighter jet to deter or to defense for defense applications, you are now sending a system of fighter jets together with a bunch of drones that are connected systematically to fight as a team, okay, or to defend as a team. Okay, so these are some of the things that we are leveraging on AI to actually help us in developing all these new techs. And one last point I'd like to make is about Skywise. I spoke about Skywise in my previous point. So Skywise is a predictive maintenance tool that we actually use for maintenance, to predict maintenance requirements, And this is something that we are pushing very strongly in terms of improving the safety of flights, safety of aircraft, as well as the reliability of our fleet, and also to solve some of our supply chain issues that we are facing at the moment. So that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you. It seems that Airbus has been using AI for quite some time, and I think the Airbus is what I call the aeroplane industry is the same important as the healthcare. So the integrity of data hopefully is not compromised. So that's why when the decision made by the AI is really trustworthy. Alright. Maybe we go to the next question to Mr. Julian. Being one of the leading logistic companies in Malaysia, if not the region, and experiencing cataclysmic growth brought on by the digital economy and consumer behaviors, how does DHL transform its organization business to cater for that pressure or demand by the consumer?
Thanks for the question. So, one of our biggest transformation, it may sound very cliche, but it's our people. So the investment to our people over the last 10-15 years, we're really seeing the fruits of the labor, the return on investment. Back in 2018, I'll tell you this story, right? Back in 2008, we were about globally, not just Malaysia, globally we were about to invest a couple of million euros into this huge training, cultural change, certification program for all 590,000 employees at DHL. So we are the 11th largest employer in the world. So to get 590,000 people on the same direction, doing things consistently every day, is not an easy feat. So the CEO, global CEO at that point of time, Mr. Ken Allen, had a chat with his global CFO. So global CFO said, hey, we're not making that much money. Are you sure you want to invest that amount of millions into all this training and certification? So what if you train all these employees and they leave? So Ken Allen then turned back to the CFO and said, what if we don't train them and they stay? Right? So 590,000 people, we have a program, a certification program. It is a blend of engagement, it is a blend of education, it is a blend of knowledge transfer, aiming and taking all employees around the world in 220 countries and territories in 42 languages about the history of the company, the cultural heritage, what do we need to be certified international specialists, what do cross-functional departments do. So many a times the person in commercial will sell all they want without knowing what operations can cater, will channel all their complaints to probably our customer experience or customer service team. So when you put them into separate functions, they know what are the challenges, what are the opportunities that this function face. So this program is called Certified International Specialist, CIS, and it is done in-house. I facilitate 4 sessions a year. So every board member, every country manager, every managing director is actually tasked to facilitate these sessions year in, year out. So that's one of the biggest transformations that we have done. And with technology, with aircrafts, with facility, with gateways, everyone can invest. As long as you have the dollars and cents, you can invest. But with people, to make sure that they deliver the shipments consistently, on time, day in, day out, is one of the toughest feat. Second biggest transformation is investment. We invest ahead of time, just like in Malaysia. The gateway in KLIA, which I mentioned to you earlier, it will take me a couple of years to sweat the assets. It will take me a couple of years to make sure I pay back whatever debt I've taken or loan I've taken from the HQ. But it's investing ahead of time. We are guided by our customers. We don't pick markets. We're guided by our customers. Like when we started in 1969, when we first started in 1969 as a company, our first customer was Bank of America. So everywhere that Bank of America needed our service, we went with them, and those were the new markets for us. Similarly for Malaysia, now with these geographical tailwinds, we're looking at building the gateway not just for Malaysia, but for the world who wants to do business for Malaysia. We don't wait for the volumes to come. We build the gateway ahead of time, so we like to be a first mover advantage. Another example I'd like to give is we are about the only few, or one or two international carriers or couriers who have got our own facilities in Borneo, Sabah, Sarawak. They might be small, they might be lean, but it's having them there will give us the ground and the foothold to expand from there. So two into people, secondly investments ahead of time. Thank you.
Alright, so hopefully Yahya will be the next everybody to announce good news to their staff. I think upscaling is very important, and like you rightly said, to ensure they remain with the company, with the investment you have put forward. But with the transformation that you have done, I believe people will be loyal to the company, and I think they will see the result.
I just wanted to add something. You know, when we moved from the gateway from Subang to KLIA, so in Subang we have 136 people who work in Subang for the last 18, 15 years, I can't remember. So when we moved to KLIA, which is 68 to 70 kilometers out, how many people do you think left us? Take a guess.
0?
3. Yeah. So 2 was redeployed, 1 actually left. 90% actually moved, and they're still there today. Yeah, so that speaks a lot for the retention and the investment in the people that we put in over the years. Yeah.
So, alright, we go next to Miss You, because I think sometimes the solution provider or equipment provider is being pressured, because maybe early discussion we supposed to deliver the contract or project within 2 years, 3 years. Suddenly there's a change that we need to push for the production or delivery faster. So what are the unique logistic challenges like Edison, and how you address all the challenges like I mentioned earlier, change of the schedule and whatnot in Edison?
Yeah, I think your question is well put in terms of the need of being agile, being flexible, right? So for us, regardless if it's the logistic industry or any business we're in today, speed and flexibility is a key. But I still, before I talk about that, like saying being flexible, but still the fundamental requirement is being reliable, having the trust of your customers, having the trust of your partners, and work together with others. I think for us, Ericsson as an organization, we have had this in our culture, I would say, from day one, about realizing that it's not only about 1 or 2 companies being the leader, but you have to drive the global ecosystem. You need to have the possibility of working not only with industries, but with academia, and as we just now talked about the focus on people. We believe that education is super important, especially in the digital area. We are actively working here in Malaysia again with DNB to bring the digital knowledge to the general public, to especially the young people, right? Not only the ones in university, but very much everyone who should have the digital skills first, so that people would understand how they should, again, strive in this new type of digital society. Then the other thing, again, to talk about the importance of having this global standard and being able to bring, I would say, the local best practice to the global audience. So again, I think that the Malaysia success Ericsson has had together with DNB, we are actively promoting that globally to share the experience we have had about being, how do you work with your customer to build a 5G network in such a short time, and not to mention, I think, with such a high requirement. Of course, we are not satisfied with 80% population coverage here, or more than 80% population coverage here in Malaysia. We are actively working with DNB to improve that even further, and to bring more, advanced features of 5G, and then prepare for 6G, etc. So I think, again, my highlight here is about our focus, again, is about Your people focus is super important. As our CEO always say that Ericsson's top priority is our customers, is our people. So like our people not only about Ericsson employee, but very much about all the people around us, the ecosystem players and the partners.
All right, excellent. Okay, I think we have about 5 minutes to go. Maybe, hopefully, we can have a third question for each of you. I go back to Mr. Burhan. As you know, that affordability is one of the issue, always raised by our consumer. All right. So, as the airline provider, as technology enhance the precision of technology efficiency, safety, and sustainability in terms of the fuel consumption and all that your customer can control in terms of the what I call airfares to the consumer.
Thank you very much, Taji. I think I'll focus more on safety and sustainability. I think those are the two key areas, in terms of the passenger experience. So in terms of safety, there's a lot of technology that goes into an aircraft. One very glaring example is, there's this equipment called the traffic collision avoidance system. There used to be a lot of accidents in the 1950s, 60s, with collision of airplanes in the sky. And this is one simple example that came up from all these accidents. So this TCAS system actually tells two aircrafts exactly where their position is relative to each other. And if they are coming to a position where they are about to collide, the system actually gives a warning on one aircraft to pull up, on the other aircraft to pull down. Okay, so this is one example where advancement of technology actually helps the safety of flight. In terms of sustainability, we have quite a number of initiatives, but I would like to highlight maybe two. We have an AI-based software called NavBlue. It's an air traffic management software which allows basically airport operators, pilots to do flight planning, flight operations, and the software basically tells you, the best flight path to take, and therefore you minimize fuel or fuel burn in the air, circling around, aimlessly, and this will reduce carbon emissions. So that supports sustainability. The other sustainability effort that I would like to highlight is basically about sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. There's a lot of discussions about SAF, recently within 1 or 2 years. A lot of efforts within the country to actually boost production of SAF because it's quite expensive at the moment. I was talking to Julian just now, it's 3 or 4 times the conventional jet fuel price. So once you boost production, the price becomes a little bit more affordable, and the adoption of SAF can become a bit easier. Okay, so right now all of our Airbus aircraft are certified to take 50% SAF as it stands. There's no modification to the aircraft, no modifications to the engine, and by 2030 we envisage that we can have 100% SAF on all our aircraft. Okay, so these are some of the key initiatives that we're looking at in terms of sustainability as well as safety. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Whatever you do, no compromise for the safety of the passengers. Good. Alright. To Mr. Julian, can you tell us more about smart warehousing, last mile deliveries, and future development? Because as an international provider and with our geographical challenge in Malaysia, is there any plan and how you going to address that last mile connectivity for your customers?
Thanks for the question. So just to make myself clear, I'm from Express, so I don't keep anything in the warehouse. If anything is stuck in the warehouse, means I'm not doing my work. So Express means you get things in and you get things out fast. But on behalf of my colleagues at DHL Supply Chain, I will explain a little bit about smart warehousing. So one of the guiding principles for us is do not digitize a bad process. So look at the process first before you start making your warehouse smart. So obviously automating systems into the fabrics of day-to-day manual operations is the theme of smart warehousing. looking at how we could automate manual nature of logistics work. Very importantly, to predict disruption. One of the biggest learning in logistics after the period of COVID is no more just in time, it's just in case. If you have heard this term many a time, no more just in time, it's just in case. So predicting disruptions and supply chain disruption is, I think, a top agenda on many of MNCs. So that's one. Streamlining processes, as I mentioned, do not digitize a bad process. And ultimately, the smart warehouse guiding principle is to make sure that we be more responsive, like what Erickson shared earlier, to the needs of customers. So in this case, some of the examples that we use in the DHL supply chain warehouses are around robotics, sensors, IoT devices, and this is to make sure that we streamline the receipt of goods, screening, to the sorting, and to the dispatch of goods to the end customers. So I'll give you an example. A smart warehouse that we currently manage for Tetra Pak is a good example of efficiency of technology. So this facility, managed by DHL Supply Chain, is the first digital twin warehouse in Asia Pacific. Alright, so creating a virtual environment. So you got physical goods moving. On top of that, you have a digital twin. You have a virtual environment that consistently, continuously feed correct information, real-time data from the physical warehouse to the control tower for Tetra Pak. What does this allow Tetra Pak to do? By mapping this real-time data, we allow the customer to achieve maximum efficiency in terms of tracking and the right level of inventory to keep in the warehouse. Alright, so in Malaysia, DHL Supply Chain is the fastest growing division. They have been investing up to 650 million ringgit. 2 warehouses. If you land in the Penang airport, the moment you drive down from the Penang airport, the overhead bridge you see on your right, there is a huge 250,000 square feet warehouse. You won't miss it because it's in yellow. It's in yellow. So in that warehouse, what we call as the PLH5, Penang Logistic Hub 5, it is one of the 5 new warehouses that is connected to a control tower that is based in KL. So you have, again, a digital twin setup. And in this, most of the warehouse, they have invested a lot into, obviously, very advanced warehouse management system. And one of the latest state-of-the-art automated pallet storage is what they have been putting in. So the ASRS, the Auto Pallet Retrieval System, is one of the biggest investment that they put into the warehouse today. So I think for smart warehousing, we see 4 key benefits. One is to increase the flexibility and agility of supply chain. So to make sure that we're able to meet a very short time expectations of customers. Secondly is to look at how we can better utilize asset. Thirdly, very important, as what Bukhari has mentioned, health and safety of employees. And last but not least is to see how we can automate manual, strenuous work. So one of the things that is happening in a warehouse is, are you carrying and putting in shipments in the right economics? So if you're carrying a shipment that's above 30 kilos, are you using your knees, or are you going to be using a back ergonomic that will cause you a back injury? So that's one of the one of the health and safety feature that's put into all the CCTVs in the warehouses. Thank you.
All right, good. It seems that the smart warehousing is very important, because I've seen one video how challenged to sort out the parcel at the warehouse. I think without assistance from the technologies or what I call the smart solution, I don't think DHL will be able to retain the staff as they are do now. All right, thank you. Maybe I'd like to go to Miss Yu. Can you share any success partnership or collaboration that have enhanced your logistic capabilities? How do this partnership help you achieve your operational goal?
Yeah, thank you for the excellent question. So I think I started about sharing some examples already. So as I mentioned about the South Korea example, right? CG Logistics, when they actually start using 5G, they realize that when you use the scanner with 5G, the latency is much shorter than Wi-Fi. So therefore the productivity can be improved. Then the other example we want to share also is Ericsson Saab together with Purdue University in the US to look into how we can, again, making the airport operation much more secure, much more efficient. So that's academia and then industry collaboration. So as we talking about here, like 5G has been around for some years, but then the adoption of 5G in the industry is still relatively limited. So therefore, we need to continue to, look into partnership across, and then of course identify possibilities that to leverage the technology so that we actually can benefit from, let's say, the possibility of being able to have a real-time analytics, and then of course to be able to make the right decision, right? Not only for saying that you can be efficiently in operation, but very much about having, let's say, a healthy working environment. So as you talk about, Julian, like how can you find, people, your staff, how they're working, but very much we are collaborating with some companies like Atlas Copco, looking into digital tools, right? Sometimes you need to figure out in the complex operation, for example, in Airbus factory in the US, often the staff will not be able to find their tools. Then we can actually use the 5G technology to figure out, how do you actually plan your operation in the best optimal way then. So I think for us, we felt like this is an exciting time for us to even, work even closer together across the industry, right, to drive the efficiency then.
Alright, so we can say that collaboration is important. Even though you are a customer, so you also can, work together how to increase the efficiency of the what I call the services that you requested for. I think the excellent, solution Edison has taken, and that's why it's proven currently your services is meets our expectation. Thank you. I think now we go to the Q&A session with all the participants. I think quite numbers of questions has reached to the Slido here. Maybe I take one question for Mr. Rohan first. But I think I'm not sure. Hopefully, this is not that sensitive. Okay, the question is, there are a couple of commercial aircraft incidents reported recently. How technology or perhaps AI could help to mitigate or avoid such incidents from happening in the future? Is there any plan in the pipeline to address the above? This is important to gain trust from customers in terms of safety. I believe this has been touched a bit just now by Mr. Burhan, but maybe you can enlighten further this question.
Thank you so much for the question. I think it's a very pertinent question. Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen a lot of incidences. So I guess, what I can say about that is technology is definitely helping us to become more safer in terms of how we operate the aircraft, in terms of how we maintain the aircraft. I gave an example just now about Skywise. Okay, if there are more adopters, within the industry to adopt Skywise, this will enable all operators of aircraft to share information with each other, and for the data platform or the AI platform to basically predict, when a particular part will fail. Okay, so I think that plays a very big role. Technology is not the only factor that basically determines whether an aircraft is safe or not. There are various other factors. A lot of the times it's human factors, it's weather, things that we can't control. Okay, but speaking, specifically about technology, I think predictive maintenance is a big way of preventing a lot of these accidents. We are also looking at our production and assembly facility, having IoT sensors, collecting data while we are, doing a production process of a particular part, using computer vision to actually detect anomalies in part production, all these kind of things actually build up to the safety standard of the aircraft. Okay, so I think in general there are a lot of things being done in the background: data analytics, AI, IoT sensors, to prevent all these incidences. But at the end of the day, like I said, there are a lot of factors. Okay, not only technology. There's also the human side. There's also the weather side. There's also airport control, air traffic management. So yeah, it has to be more holistic. If we want 100% safety.
All right, thank you. I hope the pilot also will be upscaling, because with the what I call development of new technology and solution, they probably should be updated as well. How they can help to avoid such incidences. All right. So next question from the audience is: how can AI-powered autonomous vehicle and drone reshape last mile delivery logistics? And what are the key challenges in scaling these technologies for widespread adoption? Probably this question suitable for Mr. Julian.
Okay, thanks for the question. So let me take that in two parts. We'll start with drone. Yeah. So drone delivery is not something new. DHL has been doing drone deliveries since 10-12 years ago. In Germany, we have started in certain parts of Africa. Last one was in China, delivering to parcel lockers, partnering with a company called Yahya. In Malaysia, we have done a few tests. The last one we did was in Sabah, delivering from a port to a vessel. So the technology is there, the hardware is there, the skills are there, the drone pilots are ready, the regulators are not ready. Nobody is giving us license to operate as yet. So we're working through the process. Obviously with the support of MCMC and MIDA, we're seeing how we could push that through. It's use cases are there. Obviously we do not go into last mile delivery, into people's condo, housing estates and all that. The two big use cases that we are championing are to look at how we could deliver to offshore structures, the likes of oil and gas, oil and energy. Second use case that we're looking at is to deliver, how do we deliver it to vessels. Today you've got port congestion. You've got vessels lining up for days outside the port, and it's expensive to berth into ports, expensive ports into Dubai, Singapore and all that. But we can complement the tugboats. We can complement the helicopter service by using drones, and they are all weatherproof. They can operate 24/7. And at this stage, to the question, I think it's working with the regulators to make sure that we're given the proper license. Yeah. On AI-powered autonomous vehicles, till it's ready at the passenger level, I think the technology is almost there. I'm not so sure. Might not be able to comment it in a very specific detail. But you still need the delivery driver to deliver to you. So you can't go full autonomous. You still need somebody to come down from the van or the truck to make the delivery. All right? Hope that answers the question.
All right, let's work together with our Civil Aviation Authority in Malaysia, because we also have so-called pilot or drone train, but there's a condition or requirement from JAM in short, for us to fulfill before we can fly the drone. Hopefully, this part of the initiative, we can work together with them to ensure the drone can be used in Malaysia for last mile delivery soon. Thank you. Maybe to be fair, one question for Miss Yu. In your opinion, what will be the next breakthrough in logistic technology that could revolutionize the industry in the next 5 to 10 years?
This is actually an excellent question. I think it's also a difficult question as well. So technology breakthrough, I think currently, of course, there's a lot of focus on AI, right? But I think, as I've tried to predict, of course, we want to continue to see the 5G adoption, of course, in different industries and logistic industries specifically. But I want to highlight saying that end-to-end, like not only about the network, but it's very much a device technology evolution, right? So we have been working with XR technology for many years. So we do believe that in the coming 5 to 10 years, the adoption of 5G AI together with the XR, we already are seeing many adoptions of those technologies, but then the scaling of those technologies we definitely will coming in the coming 5 to 10 years. For logistic industries, again, I want to highlight the data-driven, related operation is super important. But at the same time, it's super critical to make sure that reliability and the trust is, the brand value of everything you do, right, in the logistic industry. And therefore, we are working actively with regulators in many different countries, and Malaysia included, to discuss, for example, like prepare for quantum technology as another angle. Quantum safe infrastructure is our focus. The so-called breakthrough in technology can both mean, opportunity for us, but also certain risk. So we're working actively in crypto technology to make sure that the digital infrastructure will be super safe for the coming technology breakthrough, but then at the same time, we should leverage the end-to-end capability of, talk about the device together with network, and to make sure, again, the application, by the way, I want to highlight, Ericsson focus on driving the application, adoption of digital technologies. For example, like our investment in Vonage, the communication platform as a service technology, and then of course the coming so-called API economy, right? This application programming interface. So Ericsson is driving that globally, and we are very eager to see that more partners in the application space also start utilizing the new technology.
Thank you. I think before we close, maybe I'd like to give opportunity for all panelists to wrap up your gist of the content today. That's our audience with the backs in terms of the logistics transformation that we have talked about. Mr. Bukhari, maybe you can start.
Thank you, Karaji. I think the key word that comes to mind is operational efficiency and safety and sustainability. Okay, so operational efficiency, of course, being in the logistics sector, being efficient, cost efficient, delivering, what has been promised to the customer is always paramount. So I think that's a key here. Safety, of course, we spoke about people within the company. We spoke about safety within our operations. So that's another key aspect. And the final one is what did I mention just now? Operational efficiency, safety, sustainability. Okay, I think there has to be efforts being put in right now to actually ensure that the logistics industry is sustainable in the long term, and that's in part cooperating with everyone in the supply chain. Not just the OEM, it's ultimately the operators, the service providers as well. And I think those are the 3 key points for me.
Thank you. So Julian?
I think for us as a company, technology is probably a subset. The 4 mega trends that's constantly guiding us would be, number 1, the geographic tailwinds, the geographical tensions, the trade wars and things that are happening. So terms, your reshoring, onshoring, offshoring are things that's very close to our heart. That's one. Second one, totally agree with Burhan. Sustainability, there's a question there we didn't get a chance to answer. We deliver so many million, thousands of shipments every year. What are you doing with your carbon footprint? You have 380 planes flying day in, day out. What are you doing about it? We didn't get a chance to go there. So sustainability is on top of the agenda, and together with sustainability, safety is also in the agenda. Thirdly is the growth of e-commerce, the likes of Temu, Shein, TikTok, ByteDance and all that. So how do we do that? How do you repurpose your current asset? And then last but not least is obviously technology, investing in the right technology. And again, I think for us, it's really putting people and customers and the center of everything, complemented by technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Juliet. Monsieur?
Okay, right, to build on what have been mentioned just now. So I want to highlight for sure technology-driven we should be, and we should be people-focused, I think very much. And then collaboration again, as I highlighted many times already. So the global collaboration. And then of course in the end it's about, it's about our focus that we want to to drive technology for the good purpose. Like I think going back to the Ericsson vision, our vision is truly to say that we leverage technology to improve lives and reshape business. Then of course that we build a sustainable future together.
Thank you. Listen to your presentation just now. I think maybe our next vertical to promote is the logistics for the 5G adoption, hopefully. So to conclude our session at this time, I think since yesterday and today, the keywords that we keep listening is data, the transformation, collaboration, and standardization. So that's why I think that the key element to ensure in any transformation for the efficiency must involve all those ecosystems. So that's why I think in logistic industry also, you cannot run away from that element. Again, I would like to thank you for all the panelists for spending time with us today, and also for the participants for bearing with us until I think almost 1 hour plus, while lunch is ready for us outside. Really appreciate your patience and also your attention to this session. Thank you very much, everyone.